The village was quiet that afternoon. The sky shimmered with heat, the kind of heat that makes the air tremble above the road. Even the trees seemed tired, their leaves hanging still. A small group of children stood on the temple steps, their sandals left behind so their feet touched the warm stone. "It's burning," one of them cried as he hopped quickly across. Yet the moment they stepped inside, something strange happened. The air felt cooler. Shadows rested across the carved pillars. And right there, in the heart of the shrine, stood an idol made of black stone. One of the children placed her hand on it. Then she frowned. "It's cold," she whispered. "The stone is cold." The others reached out, pressing their palms. Cold, cold, like water from a deep well. Cold, even when outside it was 45 degrees. The children looked at each other. Their eyes shone with wonder. And that is where the story begins. A story of stone that refuses to burn. A story waiting to tell us something about time, earth, and belief. They touched again, to be sure. But the feeling did not change. The surface of the idol was smooth, firm, and strangely cool, as if the stone itself had never seen the summer sun. Outside, the road glared white. Inside, the coldness lingered. The children pressed their cheeks close, half expecting the stone to suddenly warm. But no, it remained steady, calm, almost alive. A bell rang in the distance, its echo carrying through the temple hall. The faint smell of incense floated around their noses, sweet and dry in the air. One boy laughed nervously. "Maybe the gods keep the stone cold." The others giggled but stayed close, their hands still resting against the idol, like they were trying to hold on to a secret. In that moment, something ordinary, a statue, a block of rock, became extraordinary. And such mysteries do not let go easily. They stay with us and ask questions of their own. They wondered, how can this be? How can stone stay cold when even the roof tiles are hot enough to burn? How can it be cold in this heat? The guesses began. Maybe the priest sprinkles water all night, one thought. Maybe there is a secret well inside, said another. What if the stone is magic? Someone whispered, and they all leaned closer, listening to the sound of silence within. Their eyes traveled over the dark figure, the shining patterns on the crown, the deep lines carved with such care long ago. The longer they stood there, the more carefully they looked, the more the question grew. Why? Not just why the stone was cool, but why stories like this exist at all. Because it is not just this temple. In many towns and villages across the country, people speak of ancient idols always cool to the touch. What secret lies beneath their stillness? The children didn't know. Not yet. But the question was burning inside them, brighter than the summer sun outside. To understand, we must listen to both the earth and the people. For mysteries often belong to both science and belief. First, the earth speaks. Many of these idols are carved from special rocks, black basalt, granite, or soapstone. These stones are dense and heavy. They drink in heat much more slowly than the hot air around them. And when the nights are cool, they release that heat gently, little by little. So by the time morning comes, their surface has cooled again. Step inside a temple built with thick stone walls, where sunlight barely touches. And those stones feel even cooler. The earth itself is helping. The ground in such shrines stays damp, almost breathing with underground water and hidden channels that keep the inner chambers cool. And there is more. Architects of old temples were not careless builders. They were clever. They aligned the sanctum in ways that blocked harsh sunlight, allowing air to flow but not heat. They built high ceilings, hollow passages, stones laid in precise measures, so that the core of the shrine remained calm and steady, no matter what raged outside. The earth explains a part of the secret, but it is not the whole. Now, the people speak. For many, the coolness of the idol is not just physics. It is blessing. It is presence. It is the mark of the divine sitting inside the stone, reaching out through touch. To them, the chill is like a hand upon the forehead, quieting fever and worry. A reminder that in the middle of burning heat, there can be peace. That where everything shakes, Something eternal still rests. Some say the coolness is the God's way of saying, I am here. I do not change. So the science, the architecture, the stone, and the spirit all join together. And in their meeting, the idol remains a wonder. The children slowly pulled their hands away. Their palms still remembered that coldness, and they carried it like a secret treasure. One boy said softly, "It feels like the stone is alive." The others nodded. None felt the need to laugh now. They knew they had touched something that could not be explained fully in words. Something too large for only one answer. Sometimes the world offers us puzzles that are more than puzzles. Yes, science can speak. Yes, culture can speak. Yes, faith can speak. Each voice tells a part of the story, but together, they whisper the same lesson. That life is not only heat and hurry. That even in the middle of burning summers, there can be a cool stone waiting quietly in the shadows. That balance is always there, if we only notice it. As the children left the temple, their bare feet touched the heated floor once more. The stone outside burned again, but inside them remained the memory of coolness, calm, solid, and strong. A lesson, not just of stone and temperature, but of living, to stay steady, to stay calm, to stay cool, even when the world outside feels like fire. That is the secret of the cold idol. Not only in temples, but perhaps also in our lives.